Welcome back to Urban Schoolhouse Podcast, where
Where
school
school
is
is
cool.
cool.
I am Chelsea Wysinger, and then I'm here with my mom.
Hey, I'm Ebony Wysinger.
And today we are wrapping up our Back to School series, where today we're going to be talking about ways to handle back to school conflicts.
Beef, y'all.
Beef, back to school beef. It's real. Beef, chicken, ham.
It's so real. And I know Chelsea was telling a story about how she never really started the school year. So this back to school year stuff is going to be kind of new to her. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm not nervous, but I'm just kind of anticipating a lot of behaviors, and I think a lot of those behaviors are going to come from kind of what we touched on previously is like that lack of routine. Because in the summer, a lot of kids just kind of forget their entire school routine. So getting them back on track, and parents, in our professional opinion, getting them back on track before school is actually about to start
Like now.
is a great way to prevent that.
Yeah, so and I say now, today is what? What is today?
The
29th?
29th.
Okay, yeah. So right before school starts, right before the holiday.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that, and I think also just back to school, it's a lot of change, um, because where I work, a lot of the kids like we have split classrooms, split grades, so they might have the same teacher for 2 years or so. So maybe getting a new teacher, um, new classmates, new grade, moving up, that can be difficult.
And new students coming to your
New
school,
students
and
coming
then
to
their
us.
friends leaving sometimes.
Yeah, like my fifth graders who I loved working with, they're all in middle school now. They're all in different middle schools, so it comes with a lot of change, I think, too.
Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Okay then, well, um, so we're gonna go over some types of ways to handle social emotional interactions. I'm gonna cover that and emotional regulation. Chelsea's gonna cover that. We're gonna talk about technology, examples of phones in the classroom. Chelsea's gonna also talk about that, and then I am gonna talk about class scheduling for our older students. So I just wanted to know, did you realize that the kindergartners are the COVID babies?
Yes,
You knew it.
they're coming out.
They coming out. The COVID babies is coming out, y'all. They coming
They're
out
going
this year.
outside.
They going out.
Finally.
Take it outside. Take it outside. Yes, here they come. Here come these COVID babies.
Mm-hmm.
What you think? We gonna see. Let's wait.
I'm scared.
Let's just wait.
Cause at me, but you're at a middle school.
That's why
I deal with kindergartners.
I know. That's why I asked you what you gonna do, cause the COVID babies.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared.
Well, I'm just putting it on.
I'm kind of, especially because you know that there's no baseline for kindergarten, at least in the state of Michigan. You can go to kindergarten knowing absolutely nothing.
That's right.
And so adding that to the fact that you were born during a pandemic and probably had like not a lot of important interaction with kids your age, um, that's a little scary.
Yeah. Did you know that kindergarten isn't necessary?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Which
I
disagree with that personally,
but did y'all know that?
Yeah,
I didn't have to go to kindergarten,
and I didn't learn that there was no baseline for it.
But usually people can't wait for their kids.
I've seen kindergartners that aren't even potty trained yet.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Nonverbal, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that leads us to social emotional interaction. What do I mean by that? I mean the way
interpersonal relationships.
Right, the way we get along with others. So I'm gonna cover like a couple of places where kids have these social emotional issues. Number one,
where the beef happens.
Where the beef at is, first of all, it's in your neighborhood. Most public schools in the inner city are relative to the neighborhood. So the neighborhood school, you know, the school close to the hood.
Where you go to school at? And then it's the same school.
Right. So your neighbors are your schoolmates, right?
Mm.
So if you on the block and you into it with your neighbors, kids, into it with the kids down the street, into it with the other kids, they bring that mess right to school. Okay? I'm just saying. So my number one tip for any parent dealing with neighborhood drama, and trust me, middle schoolers are the kings
Do you
and
see that a
queens.
lot?
Oh, I see it. See, elementary schools students, they don't have that run of the mill. They're not outside. Not like that. High schoolers, they're into different things. They're driving, they have band, they have work, they have girlfriend, they have work. They have
Mm-hmm.
an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Middle school kids, they don't have nothing else to do but pick on each other all day and all night.
And social media makes it like 10 times worse.
So back to the neighborhood. And I'm going to talk about that too because I see a lot of social media crap that's done in the homes brought into the schools. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, say for instance, you the kid, you at home, my kid, my house, right? You drumming up all this drama on your phone in my house. Okay. And then you go to school and it becomes a school issue. Now, I'm not your mama no more. I'm the counselor at the school. And I'm looking at the situation like, how did this spill out from these homes and in this neighborhood to this school? And the only thing I could think of is maybe we should have the kids go ahead and put the phones down when they get home from school. That's my suggestion. And hey, this is my opinion. I only been at this for 25 years, got a 24-year-old with a master's degree. So I'm gonna go ahead and say,
Oh, she said clock it.
clock it.
She said, you better ask about me.
Ask about me. Because I will snatch a phone up. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I
Mm.
said what I said. Sometimes kids need to come home and focus on something other than,
Productive.
yeah, absolutely.
Something
Something other
productive.
than drama. I don't care if you did drama all day at school. When you coming home, it's over for you. And I am not going to give you a culture, a climate, or a space, opportunity, or anything like that to bring that drama into my home. Let alone start it at my home, then take it out my home to the school, and then expect somebody else to deal with it. Mm. So try to squash all neighborhood beef. Do what you can. Don't make it worse by getting into it with the kid's mother too, because that's gonna make it worse. Try to eliminate drama.
And
And
kind of what we said before, kids are sponges.
yeah,
They're
so they
watching what
watching
you're
you.
doing. Yeah. And they're picking that up and they think, oh, if this adult that I trust, if they're doing it, then it must be
Oh,
okay.
baby, that's what they come to school and say. My mama don't like you no way. Huh? Huh? Girl, because your mama don't know me. You
Mm-hmm.
know? And the sad part about it is when they see the parent acting in that manner, they feel empowered to do so
Yeah.
themselves. Oh yeah, they'll tell a teacher in a minute, my mama don't like you. Like, okay, yo, mama don't pay me. So anyway, school bus. Let's talk about school bus. A lot of the kids clown on the school bus. What they do is they talk about each other, they throw things at each other, they fight, they laugh and pick on each other, and it's nothing that kids can do because they're cornered. All right, parents. So I'm always looking for a kid who likes to sit behind a driver because those are the kids that really do care about what's going on in real life, not what's going on in the back of the bus.
It's always the back of the
It's
bus.
always the back of the bus. So please, parents, ask your children. I mean, I know it's cool. All the coolest kids are really going to go to the back of the bus, but the closer you are to an adult is always the best thing. Plus, cameras are usually closest up to the front of the bus as well. So, tell your student to look for the cameras on the school bus and try to sit closest to the doors and closest to the adults. That's my opinion. What you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid that would sit in the middle. I wasn't like the worst,
One
but I
foot in,
wasn't.
one foot out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could kind of choose who
right.
I interacted with. I was pretty in the middle.
But I'm just
I
saying,
would
if you
say.
having beef,
Oh
I mean, if you
yeah.
having conflict,
Oh yeah.
then you should go on and sit on
Cause
the
I
bench.
was scary. I ain't even gonna lie.
It's okay to be scared.
I was scary. But by the time I was riding the bus, I didn't really have no beef with nobody.
Exactly. But I'm talking
Or
about
if I
beef.
did,
I'm
they
talking
weren't
to
on my
these parents
bus.
or these kids that got that good beef.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would sit where maybe somebody wanted to, I don't know. Kids
And I
like to
think
jump on each
and
other.
I
Did you
think
know that?
yeah, but I think again, like going back to what we were talking about before in the previous episode, like talk to an adult. Because before I started working in the school, I didn't even know there was cameras on the bus. Because as a kid, you don't think about that.
That's why I'm telling these parents
But
right here, right now, they got
these
cameras on the
schools got
bus,
it on lock.
ma'am.
These schools got it on lock more than I think people really know.
That's why we out here.
That's why we're out
We out
here.
here to let you know. The school definitely got cameras everywhere, and don't let them tell you they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
So tell an adult because they know
Yeah,
what to
and
do.
call the school too and say, my daughter is on bus H and I know it's some beef and I want to let the adult know.
Right, because then the bus driver can know, right? And then the bus driver can be
Can
on the
watch out for
lookout for
your
it.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what about that good lunchroom playground beef? Oh, that's the worst kind right there. Do you know? Let me tell y'all. Do y'all know that they got this thing? And I might mess it up, but the kids, they gonna correct me. Listen, they go 20. They go 20. It's like 20 seconds of fighting.
Oh, yeah. That we
What
did
do you
that.
say? How do you say it? We did that. You did that?
I didn't do it, but it
Oh,
was a thing when I was in middle school,
what
and
is it called?
I
How do you
was
say
just
it?
well, I thought it was 30 seconds.
Oh, maybe I'm
Maybe
wrong.
they reduced it. I don't know. But when I was in middle school, it was 30, and I was just telling someone about this about how when I was in middle school, these two boys were going 30 seconds in the bathroom to fight, and
Maybe it is 30 seconds.
it might be, but anyway, long story short, one of the boys got slammed to the ground, busted his head wide open, and there was literally a trigger warning, a pool of blood coming out the bathroom because he busted his head.
Yeah, it be like that. That's what I'm saying. You should really try to teach your children to keep their hands to themselves. And I know that's easier said than done. Don't
Not
come
at
for
lunch.
me in the
I
comments.
didn't witness no fighting at lunch though, for real. I don't think so.
I mean, you still in elementary, but
I mean, like as a student.
Oh yeah. Well, you went to private school.
But when I went to public school, I still didn't.
You weren't in elementary though.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in public school and middle school and high school, most of the fighting was just in the hallway, and it was
Yeah,
always
because
like
there's
a
no playground.
designated spot. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's no playground anymore.
yeah.
Because kids get away with a lot of stuff on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
They do. So anyway, my tips for keeping your kids out the drama on the playground is this: play with people you know are your friends, not that you think are your friends. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because people will really try to embarrass you on the
And drive
playground.
you, and then
Yeah.
drag you, embarrass you, and try to make a fool out you on that playground. Okay. So just stick to what you know. Your old faithful friend, play with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to that person. As far as lunchroom is concerned, eat your food.
Yeah.
Shut up. Eat your food. If these kids would shut up and eat their food, life would be great in the lunchroom. I have to say this. When I was working in elementary, I hated the lunchroom. I've always, I've always hated the lunchroom. But that's really not what we're talking about here. So let me just say that basically eat your lunch. Most schools or some schools have security. Some high schools have security. Get to know the security guards in the lunchroom. If there are no security guards in the lunchroom, just like on the bus, get to know the people who come in to do the lunch. It's always someone there. Sometimes it's mothers volunteering. Sometimes it's teachers volunteering. Know the people in your lunch and understand that if there's something going on in the lunchroom or the playground, your child has the right to remove themselves and go and seek an adult inside of the office, the main office, if someone is bothering them in lunch. Some schools have you have to have a pass to go out in the hall. Um, but they should speak to an adult in order to get a pass to leave out the lunchroom. If they're being abused in any way, um, they shouldn't have to tolerate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, also to go along with the playground, I want to go back to the playground and say sportsmanship because you know how these kids they playing football, basketball, and they lose, they win, they talk the junk, and then they get mad. Especially when they playing football, they get mad. I notice the boys come in mad because somebody body slammed them. So, talk to your children about winning versus losing. It's just a game. You're there to have fun. You don't have to get upset. You can play again
I think
tomorrow.
another big part of that is that like it's the trash talk too. A lot of especially boys.
Oh yeah, the
They'll
boys have that
answer,
really
and
bad.
that's why they get. I guess the reason why they get super upset.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, have these conversations at home. Like, don't rub it in people's face when you lose. Be a good, I mean, when you win, be a good winner, okay? And be a good loser, because guess what? It's always going to have to be a time when you win and a time that you lose. So be a congratulatory loser and happy for the winner. That's not something we talk about a lot. We talk to our kids about all we do is win, 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 no matter what. And that's not true. We
Mm.
need to know how to win and we need to learn how to lose with grace.
Yeah.
Flat out. And my last component is the classroom, the social emotional interaction in the classroom. Okay, so kids get real heated inside classrooms, especially the older they are. They talk about things, especially in this political climate, where kids get super heated and then they go off on each other inside the classrooms. I deal with that all the time. They sit there and they talk about each other, pick on each other, and just downright fights break out inside of classrooms. And again, when we're talking about how to handle back to school conflicts, please talk to your children about going into the classroom and being serious about the class work. Just like in the lunchroom, you should be eating. In the classroom, you should be reading or writing or listening to something that has to do with your subject. If you're doing anything other than that, then you're almost inviting the drama. I'm just saying almost so I could be kind, but honestly, it's just really inviting drama. The use of class time, or should I say misuse of class time, is rampant. You can walk past a classroom any day and see kids just sitting there talking. And I would do it every day and think to myself, I hope that if my daughter was in a classroom of kids just sitting there talking, she would have enough of sense to do her work on her own. And quite frankly, I do believe that she would have been that kind of student. At the end of the day, try to make your child that type of student. That even if everybody else is choosing to misuse the class time for their schoolwork, and they're talking, usually gossiping, usually starting or spreading drama, okay? You know, if you're done with your work, you should be studying for your other school subjects. You should be reading a book. You shouldn't be running your mouth. Basically, I feel like my whole message, neighborhood, school bus, lunchroom, playground, classroom, is actually just try to keep your mouth closed
And mind yours.
and mind yours.
Mind yours.
Mind yours. That's really the big issue. If kids go to school, stay on top of their own agenda, and mind their own business, then they would really avoid, I would say, 90% of drama. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's tough though because what middle schooler is thinking like that? At middle school, all you care about is fitting in, and a lot of people will do whatever to fit in, even if it's kind of out of their character.
For sure. And that's how come it's a good thing to talk to the parents the way we are right now.
Hmm.
We saying we understand this is the goal of a middle schooler is to fit in.
Hmm.
The goal of a high schooler is to fit in. And sometimes drama takes place because of
Because
this.
nobody wants to be the outlier.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, nobody wants their kids suspended from school.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their kids into fights. Nobody wants their kid labeled as what? Emotionally what? Impaired, I guess. But at the end of the day, we have to definitely talk to our kids about what else we could do instead of going for the 30 on the playground.
Yeah.
It's too many kids going for the 30. I don't know what to say, okay? But I just say it's 30 seconds and kids, urban children, our babies. And y'all might not even know this is happening because I didn't know this was happening. I worked in elementary for 5 years and the children taught me about this. It happens in middle school as well. And the kids set a time and they just go to the bathroom or off to the cut and they fight. And it's like an appointment.
between between science and history, I gotta fight.
Yeah. And they time it. It's like an
Yeah,
experience.
they time it 30. You only go at 30, then it's over.
And the winner is what? The what? The baddest, the best, the what?
That's what's crazy.
The one with the
Because I be
concussion.
like, it's crazy. Because like talk about, I mean, we can talk about school to prison pipeline different day, but they do that in prison too. Cause like watching my prison shows, they do that. They'll go in a corner where like the COs or wherever, or they'll go in the cell in the corner where there's no cameras or whatever, and they'll just fight,
Yeah.
and then it'll be over.
I don't know how you get to that emotional place in your life, but I have never been there.
No.
And I'm not trying to judge. And I just know that we don't have to do this.
But they get it from the internet. So I think it also goes to watching or monitoring what your kids are
and that's another thing.
digesting.
Monitor that phone. Okay, monitor that phone and monitor that internet. And what else?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Like
you know, like I'm foot on neck. I'm a foot on neck kind of mom, huh?
I didn't think you were.
Oh. But you weren't doing all this stuff. You didn't have all this stuff. We wasn't playing with that. And when we got home from school, we did our what?
I even have a phone, so I was what? I don't know.
Foot on neck. You did your schoolwork right after school, right?
Yeah.
Foot on neck. You went to bed right on time, didn't you? Foot on neck. Keep going.
It depends on the age.
It don't matter because once you get them trained, baby, you can start taking your foot off their neck. But if they not trained, ma'am and sir, keep that foot on the neck.
I guess since we're talking about technology, you can skip to the phones real quick. And the only thing I have to say about that is the main reason, and then this is kind of unfortunate timing because there was a school shooting like yesterday, I think.
Was it?
Yes. And I want to say Minnesota, and it was a Catholic school. I think what 2 people passed away.
Oh my God.
So a lot of people say that, oh well, my kid needs their phone because what if there's a shooting?
We don't agree.
I personally, no, I don't agree with that. I think at the most you can inform your family what's going on, but when it comes to their safety, like what is the phone gonna do? And I would argue that a phone can make the situation worse.
Yes.
Because let's say
I'm the killer and you on the phone.
Yeah. And your phone goes off.
Yeah, or you and they think calling somebody.
And they think that the room is empty because my mom, I mean, like me in my generation where we were trained for school shootings, they always taught us, okay, make it look like there's nobody in the room, right? Turn the lights off. We will all hide in a corner. Make it look like there's nobody there.
But then here come your phone.
Right. And your phone goes off. Okay, they know somebody's in there. So
yeah,
I feel like in that case, it can make the situation worse, actually. And then even if your parents know, with all due respect, what is the parent gonna do about it?
Nothing.
Because they're not gonna let the parents in the school.
No.
Right?
The parent I hope the parent will come in.
Oh yeah, because even with Uvalde, the elementary school, because actually, you know, I don't completely hate that this happened, because when Uvalde happened in Texas, it took the police over an hour to go into the school. And so some parents really tried to just barge in there because they were like, why aren't you guys doing anything?
Well, all that is a bad situation. Real bad scenario.
So that's the only reason people are like, oh, well, my kid needs their phone. But what is that phone truly going to do? It's not going to save your child's life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't. And
I'm so sick of this phone conversation. Me, I feel like every day the phones cause way more harm than they ever will cause good. And
yeah,
that's 25 years of experience. I've never seen cell phones in the school building be a good thing more than they have been a bad thing.
yeah, because you started in schools in the early 2000s, so
Mm-hmm.
you've seen like
The
without phones.
progression.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's still your opinion.
Oh yeah. And I really don't even think a lot of parents say that they need the phones directly after school because they walking home. What you think?
Walking home, I mean, but they're not in school. They're walking home.
Right.
I don't. We're
So
talking
you're
about in the
saying
class, like in the
keeping the phone
class,
locked away in the not out, not on. That's
right?
what the rule
Because
should be.
also parents like there's protocols and procedures for every single scenario you can think of, and every adult in a school building knows it. So, I get having anxiety about your kid being in a building for 8 hours a day, but I promise you, every person that works there knows what to do in case certain things
Absolutely.
happen.
Including laying their life down for that kid with the phone in their hand while you're someplace else.
Oh,
I
oh.
mean, real talk. Who are
Mhm.
the parents when the
Mhm.
parents are not as it's us, right?
Mhm.
Like
Sometimes we're their first parent, not all the time.
that part.
Mhm.
So I'm never gonna take that away from myself because I'm there with your kid 8 hours out the day.
Mhm.
The good part, the part that most people are awake, not sleep.
Yeah.
So I, it is our job to care for them in that way, and basically you dropping them off every morning and you putting them in our care. So I don't know. And then a lot of times, basically, the kids get on the phones and they start drama, and then it starts problems, and then it causes issues where they're not paying attention in class because now they're in emotional distress because they're texting with their friends, and their friends are telling them things that are making them upset, and
Or
that
you're
is making them.
recording people in class. We will record.
Oh yeah,
You record
recording
teachers
people,
in class. Talk about people in
recording fights,
class.
all that.
People would be literally starting beef during school on Snapchat, and then it would start in like sometimes it would start the night before. People,
At the house,
at the
at
house
the house.
on Snapchat. I hate so and so. She about to get what? Like we on Bad Girls Club, and then it goes on for the next day. Next day, okay, meet me at this spot. It's a fight at 12 o'clock at this spot.
Right.
That's
Kids
how it
make
started.
appointments to fight. Ain't that ghetto?
Appointments.
That is so ghetto to make an appointment to fight. Okay. Like,
But I think another thing is that take phones out of it, the usage of computers in school. I don't know if I completely agree with it either. I mean, this is
I
my
mean, like, you gotta have a computer.
but like the way I've been seeing it, they use computers for everything. What happened to paper and pencils? Like when I was growing up, we had a computer lab.
It's the environmental
I guess
thing.
we would have a computer lab. We would use the computer maybe a couple of times a week, if that. But now each started maybe when I was in like middle school, I started having like those Chromebook cards, and so we would still use them sometimes, but like not all the time. And now what I've seen is like every single class has them, and they're on the computer more than they're writing, like actual handwriting, and I think that's
But
a
that's why
problem.
they can't write.
That's a problem.
They can't write and they can't tell time. Did you know that?
No, I know a lot of children that can't
But
read a
and then
clock,
they can't
a
type.
hands clock.
Right, the ones that they can read a digital clock, and not a. Is that called analog?
I don't know. I just called it a hands clock
Okay, and
growing
another
up.
thing they can't do, and I hate to sit up here and be like, they can't do this and they can't do that, but I just
But it's
really want you
true.
guys to get them going with this because that's what the teachers is in the lunchroom saying. My kids can't tell time. My kids can't spell their name, but they can't tie their shoe either. Mm. Okay, so back to the technology piece. I guess I have a piece of advice. My advice is to always know policy. I'm gonna always take it back to the policy. Know your school's technology policy and go over it with your child so that they don't violate that policy by doing anything on the Chromebook issued by the school because the schools do monitor what
Oh
the
yeah, they can see what your kid is on, and then even at least for my district, I don't know about yours, but they can monitor everything, and if a kid does anything that's alarming, like if they're googling something that's alarming, oh, it'll be an alert.
Yep.
And then they're probably gonna contact the counselor or
Yes.
the social worker.
Yes.
And the parents.
So tell your student, hey, look, that Chromebook does not belong to us. Don't type in anything that you don't want to be
Most
talking
things
to
are
about.
blocked too. Like
A lot of things are blocked. These kids out here finding ways to get around the blocks, and so like proxies and whatnot. I know that's what they used to call them. I don't know what they call them now. But anyway, so know the rules, know the technology rules, so that your kid's phone isn't being taken. Because we take phones, then you have to come to the school and get the phone. Just talk to your kid about the expectations by reviewing the rules. Reviewing the rules is a great way to handle back to school conflicts before they even
that's
happen.
very true. And then moving on to emotional regulation. Like I said, I work with elementary school kids, so they like to cry about everything, or they get really upset and they just don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to calm themselves down. I feel like a lot of kids now don't know how to self-soothe. I don't know if that's a generational thing or most kids are like that. I don't really know. And then in my experience, it's because they usually just didn't get what they wanted. Um, so a lot of the times I'm really just sitting there teaching them techniques. Like I do a lot of breathing, I do a lot of writing things down or drawing things to describe how they're feeling. Um, a lot of fidget toys, things of that nature, a lot of imagery, like, just imagine you're on a beach or like, what do you like to do? Imagine you're there to try to get them to calm down. I go on a lot of walks.
That helps
in the
me.
hallways. I go on a lot of walks with them. We'll just walk around for a little bit. Maybe they'll talk, maybe they won't. But
do you have a sensory room?
We do. I think that's a really good thing that a lot of schools are also trying to implement. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that anger, same thing. But in my experience, I've only dealt with like a couple of kids that got like abnormally angry, and it was usually in gym. Kind of we're talking about usually when they were playing or stuff like that. Usually because they lost or they felt like something was unfair. They
cheated.
They cheated. This kid cut me in the line, and it really just blows up.
Teach your children patience, ma'am, sir.
Patience. And also, I feel like a lot of the times, some kids, in my experience, they just hold a lot of stuff in. And so then one thing happens, now they're ready to crash out because they've been holding everything in. And the way I like to explain it is like, like a pop, like a bottle of pop, and you shake it, it's gonna explode. So eventually, if you keep holding all of your feelings in, one thing will happen and you will explode because you have not appropriately expressed your feelings. And I always recommend getting a journal or something like that, find someone to talk to because it's hard sometimes. Yeah, but not every kid has a safe space at home to outwardly talk about their feelings. So I try to recommend ways that they can kind of do it on their own. I mean, I hope that they do feel comfortable talking to their parents, but that's not always the case. So,
well, not just your parent, any family member that you trust.
Yeah, because I've had some students tell me like they're really close with their uncle. I'm like, okay, talk to your uncle, or their cousin or something like that. So I would say that's my little spiel.
Okay then. So instant gratification, I guess we addressed that, right?
Yeah, that's why they get upset because they don't have the patience.
The patience. All right. So I guess can I chime in on that? I feel like the way to help regulate that type of emotion is to say no intentionally, or say wait intentionally, say not now intentionally.
That's a life skill.
It's a life skill. Allow your child to wait Be okay with them waiting.
And let them be bored. I feel like kids now, they don't know how to be bored. And that's when a lot of behaviors come because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing.
So practice just making them wait. Practice telling them no. To practice teaching them that it's not everything is not going to go your way. And we love you here at home, but the people at the school, they just getting to know you. So you're going to have to stand in the line and not cry and not get mad and not get angry and not hit other children and not talk back to the teacher. Just chill and wait your turn. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so cool. Um, for high schoolers, okay, so we're talking about class schedules right now and middle schoolers because, they try to change classes and things like this. So we're talking about scheduling conflicts at this point. So listen, I have three things that I want to talk about. Talk to your counselor. Number two, take course selection seriously the year before. Be involved. And three, make realistic and informed decisions about your classes. Number one, if you see that you have an error, a clear scheduling error, then your classes must be changed. Talk to your counselor immediately. What's a class error? I have two math classes. I don't have a math class at all. I have math, or I have trigonometry, but I took it last year. I already took the class. I already passed the class. A scheduling error is not, I wanted gym, but I got art. That's not an error. And I understand that we want our kids to have the classes that we want them to have, but we also have to understand that it's also only so many chairs in each classroom.
When there's caps.
And there are caps. So with that, every kid cannot have art this year, and every kid cannot have gym this year. However, the good part is maybe you could take art next year. And that takes me to the second point. When class or course selection time comes up, it's always in the spring at the end of the school year. Get involved in that process. Select the classes that you want. Look through the material so you know what classes teach what. Figure out if your kids really, really want these classes. And if you do, then you sign up for them. You inquire about them. You don't want to wait to the last minute. They will fill up, especially classes like art, where there's materials involved. Only a certain amount of materials are there for the students. Um, and band and things like that. So make sure that you get involved the school year prior with the scheduling process, and that'll help the conflicts not even occur. And the last thing is make realistic and informed decisions about your classes. So, what does that mean? What that means is this: if my scholar is not well versed and is not very happy with a mathematic situation, they're not the best math scholar, then be easy with taking AP calculus, right? If you know you're not really a reader, you don't want to do that, you're not really into reading novels, then you don't just take a literature class as an elective. Be reasonable, be realistic, do what you like, practice things that you want to get to know more things about. Make informed decisions by knowing what the class teaches. Who even teaches the classes? Talk to other people who took that class. Talk to the teacher. Ask the teacher, what do you teach in this class? Those are all things you could do to avoid scheduling conflicts. And also, parents, from a counselor to you, just because a student has a class that they don't want, it doesn't matter because that's just one more life experience that that student has. They don't have to take it forever. They just take it for the semester and they move on. And they might like it.
Yeah.
They might like it. So that's my spiel on conflicts with class schedules.
Period.
Period.
Well, that is all we have for this episode. So that concludes our back to school series. We hope you guys really enjoyed it and found some use. I did too, yeah, and found some use out of it. We will continue in October, which is Bullying Prevention Month, and it's also ADHD Awareness Month. So we can touch on those two topics. To stay up to date,
follow us on Instagram.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
And TikTok at Urban Schoolhouse Podcast.
Urban Schoolhouse Podcast. One word.
Yep.
Podcast with the S on the end?
No.
Oh, podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you know. Anyway, so that is it. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you next month.
All right now.